Hello, welcome to the inaugural episode of our SRAR podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about social media and real estate. And here to join me is my esteemed colleague, Bryan Almeida, a very seasoned, wonderfully professional real estate agent.
Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm going to have to tell you for that introduction for sure. But thank you, Anthony. Thank you, SRAR, for allowing us the honor to be part of this inaugural episode.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course, thank you for taking the time to interview me. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Southland Regional Association of Realtors podcast, your go-to guide for real estate success.
All right, so let's get into it. Bryan, like I said before, you've been a real estate agent for years. Mm-hmm. How has your method of lead generation evolved since the rise of social media?
Definitely, I appreciate that. It's definitely changed, right? Social media has provided a platform where our clients are going to look us up before they even talk to us. That's my perception, right? Social media, in whatever way that you look at it, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it holds its own demographic. And that said, when they interview you, mm-hmm. I don't know about yourself, but people will Google you. And I go to Facebook and Instagram to see what they're about. So we can only expect that to be done to us as well. Right.
You know my presence on social media, so you know that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Call you Casper the friendly ghost.
The interesting part about that is because I think that I come from like that cusp of getting into like technologically advanced stuff, but I still remember the long house phone cord and all that stuff. So like I shy away from it, but I have to be intentional and purposeful about posting onto social media because I think that it is extremely important in the way that we market.
It definitely is. And I tell everybody, right, business technology, social media, AI, it's not going to replace our value as agents. But the agents that are utilizing these techniques, utilizing business AI, business tech AI, utilizing social media within their business, those are going to be the agents that put the agents that don't want to use it out.
Sure.
Right? Because we are definitely in an environment where it is expected of us to be a completely open book in one way or another, right? Our life needs to be out there in the public. We are considered public figures,
sure,
right? So we need to have a presence, and that presence needs to be thought about, right? It's kind of how you're going to portray yourself. It's an intentional, right? Yeah. When it comes to social media, as far as myself, I'm a big believer in the 90-10 rule.
What's that?
The 90-10 rule for myself is 90% personal, 10% business. I'm sure there's a lot of individuals out there that have seen these real estate agents that just opened, just closed in escrow, just opened, just closed in escrow, the same format all up and down their platform. To me, that doesn't really tell me anything about you.
You're right. Right. No, I think that's a great point because, and this is the way I kind of teach it at the brokerage is that, how many people actually comment or engage with your real estate posts, with the information, all that stuff. But then when you post something of your two kids climbing all over you, engagement
all over the place, right?
That's the bait.
Exactly. That's the bait. It's definitely the bait. And like I tell people, you got to make sure people relate to you. This is 100% a relationship business. It always has been. It's never going to change. And the best way for someone to relate to you is for them to see the real you.
Yeah.
Not the one that's in the suit. I mean, hey, if you spend 24 hours in your suit and wear your Louis Vuitton belt and driving around in your Mercedes, hey, God bless your soul, my friend. But I got kids and I'm as real as they come. Right?
Yeah.
I got some stains on my shirt from the kid in this morning.
Well, so, in all honesty, we actually talked to each other this morning and I asked you, Bryan, if you were going to dress up or if we could wear jeans.
And we were both in the same mindset, like sneakers, jeans, and a button down, my friend. That's at the end of the day, you have to be real. And that's what it is for me. And that's how lead generation has changed, right? You're putting yourself out there on social media so people can see who you are. If I'm going to go door knock my farm, I'm expecting them to know who I am, right? But in that 2-minute conversation that we're having at the door, they're not really getting to know who I am.
Sure.
But if I'm leaving them a flyer that shows my Instagram, my Facebook, the minute they close that door and they have nothing to do and they go find me on Instagram, they go find me on Facebook, and they see that I'm an actual human. I got kids. I'm a family man. I'm a volunteer. I do all these things.
No, I think that there's multiple strategies there. And I've got a a bunch of questions I want to ask you, but you kind of the way that you answered
it's a little bit of all of them, right?
Yeah, like kind of sparked something. But you mentioned your presence on social media. Do you have a preferred platform, or do you use all and every?
You know what? I do have a preferred platform. It's funny. Can you mention it earlier, right? The demographics definitely kind of steers you into a platform.
Oh yeah.
My demographic of, our mid-30s has been Instagram for a long time. That's where I find the majority of my value. That's where I get my past clients to follow me. That's where I get new clients inquiring about questions and whatnot. Facebook has always been a standpoint. You kind of have to have a Facebook in a sense, but Instagram is my 100% biography, if you will. And then TikTok. I utilize TikTok like crazy now to kind of, do-it-yourself projects, see what other people are doing too. But TikTok is a little bit, I will say that's going to steer more into your 20-year-olds and your younger generation.
I had to close my TikTok down because I was just spending too much time like watching people lip sync the songs instead of doing actual work. But so you're right, and I actually went to a leadership conference, and one of the speakers there talked about, and I think this is so important, and so like, because we get stuck in our own lane sometimes, and it's like, I'm more comfortable with Facebook because I'm in my mid 40s. You say you're more comfortable with Instagram because you're in your mid 30s, right? But we have to think about who we're marketing to and be intentional about that. So if we're marketing to baby boomers, we should be in that Facebook, but we should have a presence on all of them, right?
Exactly.
Because, the millennials are getting more into the market and having money and starting to buy houses. Where do you reach them? Where do you reach Gen X? Where do you reach baby boomers? Where do you reach the next incoming generation? And so have a different presence and different message on each of those platforms. Would you agree?
1,000%. You hit it right on the nail. What's your demographic? Who are you speaking to? So I've been blessed that the majority of my business for the last few years has been sellers, right? But I'll be very quite honest. I don't get seller leads from Instagram or Facebook. Mm-hmm. I just don't.
Right.
But I get a ton of buyer leads from Instagram, a ton. So that's where I even brought this up to my team. It's the content that we're putting out has to be intentional. It has to be geared towards the people that are on that platform. Why am I talking about selling your house and relocating if the majority of the people that are engaging with me on Instagram are buyers and first-time buyers, right? So that being said, I have tweaked the kind of messaging that I'm putting out there. I still do, right? The 1031 exchanges, I still try and put some content out there for sellers in a sense, but it's mostly geared towards first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
Because that has been my market. That has been who has engaged. That has been who has who I've acquired leads from through Instagram would have all been buyers.
Yeah.
So the content that I'm putting out is going to be geared towards buyer. First-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance programs, and talking about a little bit of all this stuff when it comes to posting business-related content. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, it's inspirational quote. It's a picture of me picking up my kid or dropping off my kid for the first day of school. It's
which just happened.
Which just happened, exactly. That's why it's so fresh, my friend. But it's things like that. And then all of a sudden you'll see, here's this condo listed for $300,000 in Santa Clarita. If you put $15,000 down, your closing cost is X amount. Your PITI, your monthly payment on this is going to be $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. And that attracts the buyer because now they're actually seeing a breakdown of what could possibly be theirs. They're seeing the price. They're seeing how much out of pocket they would need. And they're also going to see how much the monthly payment, which is the most important thing for everybody. And it gets in front of them. It's captivating. It takes them no more than 15 seconds to look at. And the music that we chose is awesome too, right? So, and you have to be strategical with all that. If you go on Instagram or any of these platforms, TikToks, any of these trending songs are going to help you get more views. And that's the whole point, the algorithm behind it, right?
100%.
You can even put the trending song and mute it, but yet it still has the trending song. So you're still going to get the traction from it. Those are the things that people need to understand when utilizing social media. It ain't just about posting, dumping a picture and moving on.
Right.
It's about being intentional with what you're doing.
The algorithm. And you bring up a very good thing. And, like I put a lot of time and effort into my MySpace and it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Well,
you don't even remember MySpace, do you?
I hope to be in your top 10. Of course I remember MySpace. You know what? They just did the whole little putting the song into Instagram like back in MySpace. Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess to share your mood with the song.
Let's move on to. I've got another question for you that I'm really interested in finding out.
I think that's Brady's question too.
When you, I haven't gotten to my list yet. Again, you keep inspiring things out of me. But
That's what
when you talk about the algorithm, like, are there any don'ts that when you're doing a social media marketing piece, or how you conduct yourself on social media? You try to stay away from certain topics, or
well, of course, there's certain topics you don't ever want to dive deep into, right? Politics, religion, those kinds of things always are points of contention, especially in the political climate that we're in right now, right?
Right. So do you intentionally try to keep your stuff based on just marketing your business and keeping it light, or do you actually like voice about opinions about your community, anything like that?
Definitely opinions about my community. You still very much want to be who you are.
Sure.
Be genuine, be yourself. Just know not to go on full on rants when something happens in a political climate. You know what I mean? And to each their own. I respect everybody's opinion and their thought process. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to social media, the internet in general, once it's out there, it is never coming back.
It's permanent.
So come from a place of passion when you speak.
Sure.
But be intentional and wise about the words you choose.
That's brilliant.
Right. So that's kind of where I would give my 2 cents and my advice is be genuine, be yourself. If you feel very heavily about a certain topic, express your opinion, but be wise about how you deliver the message, right? It's not the message itself, it's how it's delivered. We've always heard that, right?
Yeah.
So that is definitely 100% true when it comes to positioning yourself on social media and the content that you choose to put out there.
Well, you're hired as my social media coordinator. Congratulations.
Thank you. I need to hire one for myself too. Let's do this.